Hi everyone, my name is Andrea Fulmer, and today I'm excited to talk to you about B.F. Skinner, one of the most influential and sometimes controversial figures in psychology. Skinner's work on behavior and learning changed the field forever, especially with his focus on the idea that behavior isn't random. It's shaped by rewards and punishments in our environment. In this presentation, I'll take you through his life story, his key theories, some real world examples of his ideas in action, some of his critiques, and even my own reflections on what his work means for the future. So, who was B.F. Skinner? Skinner had an interesting start. He was born in 1904 in a small Pennsylvania town and originally studied English, hoping to become a novelist. But after struggling to find success with his writing, he turned to psychology, and that decision changed everything. He earned his PhD at Harvard and he stayed there to teach and research. What's really inspiring about Skinner is that he wasn't afraid to follow a completely different path when his first career didn't work out. I think a lot of us can relate to that. It is okay to pivot when you find your true passion. Operant conditioning, the basics. Skinner's biggest contribution is the concept of operant conditioning. This basically means that our behaviors are influenced by the consequences that follow them. So if we get rewarded, we're more likely to repeat a behavior. If we're punished, we're less likely to do it again. He outlined four key types of consequences in this: positive reinforcement, negative reinforcement, positive punishment, and negative punishment. And what's really powerful here is that Skinner showed behavior could be shaped step by step over time and not just suddenly. This had huge implications for fields like education, parenting, and even mental health and fitness. Skinner and Psychology 2E. Our Psychology 2E textbook summarizes this perfectly, that B.F. Skinner believed behavior is motivated by the consequences we receive for the behavior, the reinforcements and punishments. OpenStax 2020, Chapter 6. When you think about it, we experience this every day, whether it's studying harder after getting praise from a teacher, or someone exercising more after seeing weight loss, or any kind of positive health result. Um, Skinner focuses Skinner's focus was always about what could be observed and measured and modified, not theories about anything that we couldn't prove. The operant conditioning chamber. To really study behavior scientifically, Skinner built what's now famously called the Skinner box. In it, he put rats or pigeons with learned behaviors like pressing a lever for food for a reward. Skinner used this box to study different reinforcement schedules, like rewarding every behavior versus rewarding at random intervals, at random point in times. What he found was that certain reinforcement schedules made behaviors much stronger and harder to extinguish. This principle explains why people can get hooked on things such as gambling, because unpredictable rewards are incredibly powerful motivators. Applications of Skinner's work in the real world. Skinner's work is everywhere once you start noticing it. In education, teachers use ABA therapy, that is classroom rewards. In therapy, especially ABA therapy for children with autism, positive reinforcement helps develop communication and coping skills. Even the way social media apps give you likes and streaks, that's based on Skinner's reinforcement schedules. Personally, I think it's fascinating and maybe a little bit scary how many systems are around us designed to shape our behavior without us even realizing it. Critiques and controversies. Skinner's ideas didn't come without criticism. A major critique was that he ignored the emotional and cognitive sides of being a human. Not everything we do is supposed to be about rewards and punishments. People also act on their beliefs, on their goals, on their emotions, and even on random inspiration. Critics worry that if we only saw people as products of their environment, that we might lose sight of our own free will, creativity, and individuality. Also, using behavioral control in institutions like prisons raised ethical concerns about manipulation and consent. These are still important debates happening today in psychology, education, and technology. My reflection: used for structured environments. When I think about Skinner's work personally, I think I see a lot of value in it, but there's also a need for balance. Positive reinforcement is incredibly powerful. I've seen it firsthand helping children build confidence and independence in my church, in the school. But if we only focus on controlling behavior and not really understanding the person, then we risk deeper causes behind actions like emotional trauma or social pressures. In my opinion, behaviorism gives us tools, but those tools have to be combined with compassion, human compassion, and a whole person perspective. Looking ahead, the future of Skinner's ideas. So, looking ahead, I think Skinner's principles are going to keep showing up everywhere, especially through technology. Apps that help you build habits, mental health programs, wearable tech such as Apple Watches and Fitbits that give rewards for healthy behaviors. All of these are modern forms of operant conditioning. But with AI and more personalized systems, we have to be careful about ethical issues. How much should technology nudge us? How do we balance helping people versus manipulating them? I think blending behaviorism with neuroscience and ethics will be key to making sure Skinner's legacy stays positive. Here are the references I used for this presentation, including our Psychology 2E textbook, Skinner's original writings, and a few scholarly articles. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen. I really enjoyed learning about B.F. Skinner and how much his work matters today. Thank you. Have a blessed day.